Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Sandy Smith, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Lieutenant Tamazin Crocker. We warmly welcome the family of Flying Officer John Allen Schmidt, whose story will be told shortly. We warmly welcome Group Captain Bruce Chandler, retired, representing the Air Force Association. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you are able, I now invite you to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. For visitors who are able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer John Allen Schmidt. John Schmidt was born in Brisbane on the 25th of November 1924, the eldest of two sons, born to Rudolph and Lillian Schmidt. Allen attended Shaw School in North Sydney and left his schooling early so that he could take up work as a jackaroo on his father's holding near Claremont in the Isaac region of Queensland. John was known as a happy and well-liked young man who excelled at tennis and cricket. Schmidt enlisted into the Royal Australian Air Force in February 1943 and spent the next 10 months training in air bombing, gunnery, and wireless operations at bases in New South Wales and Queensland. In November 1943, he set sail from Sydney for service in the United Kingdom. His journey to the war in Europe took him through the United States of America, and he spent Christmas and New Year 1943 in New York City, including a party at an American officers' club that he described in a letter home as an exceptionally wild night, all formality being dropped. Schmidt arrived in England in January 1944, where he continued his training. He was posted to several bases across the United Kingdom and used his short periods of leave to travel to see the sights of Brighton, London, Lancaster, and the seaside resort of Blackpool. In mid-1944, John departed England for service in the Royal Air Force in India. He was first posted to a reception centre in Worli, south of Bombay, and then to a refresher flying unit at Pune. In August, he transferred to 1673 Heavy Conversion Unit near Kolar in India's south, which at the time was training aircrew for service in Liberator heavy bomber aircraft. In November, he made his final unit transfer to the newly formed No. 358 Squadron, Royal Air Force, in the West Bengal region of India near Kolkata. By this time, he had been promoted several times and had attained the rank of flying officer. No. 358 Squadron was a bomber and special duty squadron operating from India in the war against Japan in Southeast Asia. On the 22nd of January 1945, Schmidt took part in his squadron's second operation, a special duties mission in which 11 of the squadron's liberators were tasked with dropping supplies hundreds of miles behind enemy lines in French Indochina, modern-day Vietnam. In this mission, Schmidt served as wireless operator and air gunner as part of an 8-man crew. He was the only Australian on board. Schmidt's aircraft, Liberator KH-278, took off from the airfield at Digri shortly before 3 p.m. on the 22nd of January into heavy cloud and severe monsoonal weather. The aircraft was never seen again. It was his first operational flight in the war after nearly 2 years of training. He was one of 3 aircraft from No. 358 Squadron that did not return to base after that mission. The aircraft has never been found, and John's body never recovered. His family were at first informed that he had simply been reported as missing in action, and they held out hope that he might have been taken prisoner of war. It was not until April 1946, after the war's end, and after his parents had written several letters asking for any more details about the fate of their son, that he was confirmed as presumed killed. John Schmidt was 20 years old. His parents never held a memorial service or funeral for their son, never giving up hope that one day he might return. His name is listed on the Singapore Memorial, which records the names of more than 24,000 British and Commonwealth personnel of the Second World War who have no known grave. His name is also listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among nearly 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer John Allen Schmidt, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.